Wait, I think this is another option too. You're just eating food. All right. Well, you want
Wait, oh, we're recording. My bad.
Yeah, that sounds like you do.
Hello.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Scotch and Stocks. As you can see, this is a little bit different than what we're used to, but you know, it's kind of the cards we've been dealt. We're gonna do our do this episode on Zoom. It's taken us all of 2 hours to get this garbage set up.
Jesus, seriously.
It's been pretty rough, but
Yeah, it's been a rough one.
I mean, first things first. Let's start it off correctly.
We got this day. We got this boy right here.
Okay. So I guess I'm not really doing Scotch, but
It's okay.
When in Rome.
I mean, I'm doing rye whiskey, so don't feel bad.
All right. Well, we'll call it. Rye and stocks.
I don't know why that was really hard, but oh yeah, clink.
Oh.
All of our clinks now are gonna have to be fake. I think that'd be so funny. Every time it's just like.
Just the most obnoxious sound ever.
I love it. I fucking love it. That would be sweet. All right.
So it is 30 degrees out where I'm at, and I'm sitting here in what looks like a little cave. So we're gonna have to roll through.
You're gonna explain where you are. Like you have to tell everyone.
I'm back. I'm in Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Kentucky. This is where that's where I've been living, and I'm here for school. And so just here. So that's why we're doing the Zoom meeting or Zoom call, Zoom whatever.
You're a great storyteller, you know that?
Yeah, I know. I'm really good. We'll have to add a fancy little.
All you had to do is say, "Oh yeah, I moved back to Kentucky. I'm getting my PhD at University of Kentucky, and it's in this and this and this." And yeah, that's why I'm in 30-degree weathers. For those that are
okay. Well, I'm in 30-degree weather because I'm back in Kentucky at University of Kentucky working on my PhD in rehabilitation science, and that's why it's 30 degrees out. And my heater was out for at least a week, and I was sitting. I could see my breath. It was so cold in the compartment.
In the room, you could see your breath.
It was pretty bad.
Oh my god! I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that. You said that it was like the same degrees outside. I thought you were like. I honestly thought you were bullshitting a little bit. I was like, all right, like
24 degrees outside or whatever it is.
Yeah, it was 24 outside, and you were like, I think it's the same temperature inside. But if you could see your breath.
No, sorry, it warmed up. It's 27 right now.
Ooh, 27. It's nice and warm.
Yeah, we had an ice storm a couple days ago. That was fun. Unfortunately, a lot of people lost their power. I wasn't one of them, so I guess there's some consolation to that. But anyway, that's why we're doing this. So. First thing we want to talk about, and I kind of mentioned this one to you, and you said you wanted to look into a little bit more just because it has the animal background to it. The company is Zomedica, and the one thing about Zomedica I sent to you was the fact that they had their big thing was, let me find it again. Yeah, so Zomedica Pharmaceuticals. When I looked, it was under like $3 a share, but because of all the Wall Street bet stuff, so naturally everybody has to be on there. So I was kind of looking through the daily discussion and saw I mean they had all the marijuana stocks and whatever, and we laughed because I laughed because I was like, we've already talked about this. This is old news, like
right.
So I guess we're cooler than Wall Street bets, but you know whatever. But so Zomedica Pharmaceuticals, so the ticker ZOM. I think a lot of people also got it confused. And they started buying it because they thought it was Zoom.
I can see that.
That
happened. What else? That was the same with Elon. Elon did a tweet about, he was like, I don't remember the name of it, but like, we'll find it. But he was like, oh yeah, use this. And then everyone thought it was one thing. And then it ended up pumping the other stock, but he was talking about some other random shit. And
yeah, it was like some communication thing. Yeah, it totally got pumped the wrong way. Virgin Galactic, the space stock, got pumped too. This was last year, I think. It got randomly pumped for no apparent reason, but it was because some other space thing happened, and so people were buying.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. It happens, man. Whatever.
So with this one, people on Zoom because they did ZO2, and oh, you bleeped out. Oh, okay, keep going. So currently, at least last time I looked, it was like 255 a share. It might be a little bit different from that, but the big thing that I thought was interesting was, according to this, it said Robert Cohen was appointed to the board. He was a former Pfizer exec, and their main product is what's called TrueForma. So TrueForma is this product that helps diagnose adrenal and thyroid diseases in dogs and cats. So I thought it was interesting because I know with any pharmaceuticals or biotech company, very volatile stocks just because they can go anywhere which way. I mean, there was one, Sorrento, I think, I forget what it's SRPT is the ticker, but it's like Sorrento or Sorrempa Therapeutics was a stock. Like they just recently did like one of their cases that or trials that they were supposed to do didn't reach statistical significance, so their stock price dropped in half. I think I sent you that one. It was like 140 and it dropped to like 80 or 90, I think.
Yeah, no, I remember that, and that's always my biggest risk with like pharmaceuticals, is just due to the fact that like no matter what, like it doesn't matter how strong they are. I mean, the same with like even big ones like Moderna or Zoetis or anything like. Well, Zoetis is different, but what's the other one? Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca. That's what I was trying to think of.
I mean, Merck. I mean, all of those. Like, I mean, if something happens to them, their stock's going to tank. And so,
right, and obviously, the smaller the company, the bigger volatility when they have bad news and good news.
And that was the thing with that Sorrento or Sorrenta. I have to find it. I keep pronouncing it wrong. Sorrenta Therapeutics.
Okay.
So it's currently, as of this recording, it's about $91 a share. It's gone down actually almost 6% in the past week alone. So not because of the drug trial issue, it's actually going down right now because they are being investigated for securities fraud. So
I feel like every company has that at some point. I swear to God, every company I hear about.
Not a publicly traded company if you're not being investigated, right?
Like legitimately, I like every company that I've ever seen. It's just, well, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that like if you're not growing at an almost exponential rate with companies, like you basically, yeah, I mean, because you have to remember, like all these investors that are in these companies, they're expecting you to go from 10 to 15 to 15 to 20% profits.
Yep.
And so like if you're not able to keep that up and then you kind of like taper off, that basically means that like a lot of investigation starts happening because they think it's fraud. And so that's why that happens, is just because. So it basically, if any lull in your company at all happens, you're going to get investigated. So
sure. I mean, and that makes sense. I mean, it's not like they're getting a lot of volume. I mean, their volume has dropped off pretty substantially. Their average volume is 1.35 million. And today it wasn't even 800,000. So like they're losing a lot of volume. And I think that securities investigation is,
everyone's like,
anyway, digress. So Zomedica, obviously, I mean, this kind of brings up to our point, how when you're looking at a pharmaceutical company or a biotech company, I mean, you can make a good chunk of change if you time it correctly. Or if you're really into like,
it's a swing trade. It's a swing trade. So if you know that good news.
Well, then good news. It's a suppository.
Like you stick to one, and then you look at it, and you're like, all right, I know that the news about this trial is coming out today, and I either think it's going to be good or I think it's going to be good. So if you know the company really well, then you basically are placing your bet on that. You put $500, $5,000 on it, and you're like, I think it's going to be good, and then you go, and then you sell. That's it.
And as soon as it pumps, like that's when you sell it. Like you don't even bother seeing how far it's going to go. If you made money, you're probably going to make at least 10 to 20% return on it.
Right.
So like, what's kind of some of the stuff that you found about Zomedica that either you do or do not like about it?
Well, I like the company in general, just like for what they do in general, like what you talked about with the
Today, Junior.
Their own proprietary stuff with having to do with the thyroids and shit. That's actually really helpful to have something that's proprietary, because Okay.
No.
I don't know what the fuck that was. Okay. My bad. I know. I literally just pulled up Robinhood, and that's what like made a sound at me. Okay. Anyways,
Oh, because after hours is closed.
that's so annoying. I hate that.
Did not know it did that.
I hate that. Okay. Well, okay.
Are we about to rumble?
I know it.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Are we about to rumble?
Are
No. So
we
the biggest red flag I have with this company is the fact that Zomedica is to voluntarily delist its common shares from TSX Ventures Exchange, and that happened as of today, 2 days ago. So
what does that mean?
the New York Stock Exchange American is one of the more flexible exchanges out there. For an initial listing, it only requires a starting price at $2 to $3. There's even room for stocks to fluctuate downward, which allows the exchange to host penny stocks. Zomedica first came out of the New York Stock Exchange July 2020. Since the stock has faltered to as low as 6 cents for companies that aren't new to the exchange, New York Stock Exchange American maintains a minimum share price of 20 cents. As a result, Zomedica faced the risk of getting delisted. However, the company pulled itself out by its bootstraps and managed to hit a solid 35 cents per share, which is 400% higher than its standing in late October. In the past, Zomedica voluntarily delisted from the TSX Venture Exchange and the NASDAQ Exchange following value falls. So that's my biggest problem with it. But the thing is, now that it's been pumped by Wall Street Bets, it actually helps them a lot.
Yeah.
Like, so much more than like even people even realize. Because like previous, like if you look at the past 5 years, when it was first listed in 2017, it listed at $2.30.
Right.
But then
it took a huge drop in 2019.
Right.
You could see it just looks like a giant, it's just like a waterfall. It heads right down, and it was more or less flatlined at, as you said, 25, 30 cents, and then it went down a little bit lower than that if possible. And then it has just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the nice thing is that it had that major volume.
Up over 2,000, over 2,100%
right.
in the last 3 months. In the past month, it's over 125%. Like, that's absurd.
Yeah.
That is insane. Now, granted, I mean, all this stuff right now with all these stocks getting pumped, I mean, that's not it's
well,
not
especially for one like that, where they're just like, it's basically just hedge funds watching Wall Street Bets, and they're just staring at the computer like,
what you staring at? I'm not a mirror. Yeah, I like that one.
okay, they're going after this one. Okay, we're going. That's literally what happens.
Yeah, and then you get the high frequency trading, and then that just like, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Like, and then that's when it gets pumped up. So
yeah,
I'm gonna ask this question. I mean, do they have any debt? I mean, do they have? I mean, other than the fact it could be just a quick pump and dump, like, is there anything else? Like, what?
Well, they had some good news recently. They had good news
Then good news.
very recently. They announced like a closing deal, like $173.5 million. It was bought. It was today announced the closing of its previously announced public offering
of 91 million common shares of Zomedica at a price to the public at $1.90 shares, less underwriting and discounts and commissions. As previously announced, Zomedica also has granted the underwriting a 30-day option to purchase up to 13 million additional common shares at the public offering price, less underwriting discounts and commissions. H.C. Wainwright & Co. acted as the sole book running manager for the offering. The gross proceeds approximately $173.5 million before deducting underwriting discounts and commissions and other offering expenses payable by Zomedica. Zomedica intends to use the net proceeds from the offering for the continued development of its diagnostic platforms, including making milestone payments, if any, as they come due under its existing licensing and collaboration agreement for strategic acquisitions if, when they become available, and other general corporate and working capital purposes, and may use a portion of the net proceeds to repurchase some of or all its outstanding series preferred shares, although no agreement has been reached with respect to the terms and conditions of any repurchase. Jesus!
Was that one sentence? Oh my Lord. Oh, I gotta breathe after that. Yahoo Finance, learn how to fucking write a sentence. My Lord.
Oh, you're done. Okay.
I know, yeah. That was literally, oh my God.
That was one sentence.
That was one sentence.
Okay, figure out your.
Okay.
Good Lord.
Literally all that meant is that there's going to be a good amount of money being pumped into it. From some Corporation.